Hey, welcome to 1 Minute Later. I'm Craig, husband, dad, radio guy, and all-around human cautionary tale. And this is the show where I tell you a little bit about my life, usually something small or a little odd, and we stumble into something bigger together. So let's go ahead and go back to the beginning. I grew up in Gaylord, Michigan. Now, if you've never been there, picture an alpine village, because that's literally what it is. The whole place was modeled after Pontresina, Switzerland. We've got chalet-style buildings, and every summer, the Alpine Festival takes over our town. If you didn't know any better, you'd think you'd taken a wrong turn into the Alps, except for the fact that everyone's driving pickup trucks. All right, so my childhood was dirt roads and bikes. We'd leave the house after breakfast, and my parents wouldn't see me again until the fireflies came out. That was pretty normal. Nobody tracked kids back then. And besides, if I ever did something dumb, and trust me, I did plenty, somebody in town already knew my parents. By the time I got home, Mom was on the porch with, that look. Gaylord didn't need a surveillance system. We had church ladies. Anyway, at night we slept with the windows open, got the crickets, the frogs, owls. That was kind of our sound machine. Nobody locked their doors because the worst crime in Gaylord was probably somebody tipping over a cow or stealing Mr. Peterson's garden gnome, which, for the record, has still never been recovered. I stayed in that small town lane when I went off to college, another relatively small Michigan place, and that's where I met Jen. We fell in love, got married, and I figure I would be a small town guy for life. But then came the call. The call was a Christian radio station in Columbus, Ohio, and they said they'd heard of me and wanted to give me a shot. And to a small town kid like me, that was huge. I mean, this was it. The big leagues. So we packed up, left our dirt roads and crickets behind, and stepped into city life. And at first, we loved it. There was always something happening in Columbus, Ohio. There were concerts, new restaurants, coffee shops that actually spell latte correctly. If I needed groceries, I didn't have to settle for expired milk and canned peaches. I mean, I had Kroger, I had Whole Foods, Trader Joe's. I mean, it was like a food Disneyland. And then Gavin was born. Our first child, born in a big city hospital with all the amenities, private room service, the whole deal. It was really incredible, actually. But, here's the thing. Having kids really changes the way you see everything. And suddenly the city didn't feel that exciting anymore. It felt fragile. Every siren kind of sounded closer. Every news story, it felt personal. Every late night noise had me looking out the window. It was commonplace to see the helicopter with the spotlight near your house. And then came the morning we were jolted awake by the Franklin County SWAT team breaching the door of our neighbor's apartment. I mean, full gear, flashbangs, that whole scene. And I just remember my wife holding Gavin, and I was thinking to myself, maybe this isn't where we're supposed to raise our family. I mean, nothing wrong with people who raise their family in cities. It's just, I don't think that was us. And people would sometimes ask me why I would throw away such a great radio gig, a place where I could really, quote unquote, make it. And yeah, that's a thing, even in Christian radio. In big towns, ratings, well, they unfortunately still matter. But Jen and I, we wanted more than ratings. We wanted peace. We wanted a place where our kids could be our kids. And after a lot of late night conversations, we eventually landed in Kansas, the heartland. And here's what I've learned since we got here. In the city, you measure distance in minutes. In the heartland, you measure it in miles. City traffic is brake lights. Heartland traffic is a tractor. In the city, you don't expect to make eye contact. In the heartland, people wave at you every time. Sometimes, especially if they don't know you. And here's the bragging part. The guy who knocked on my door the other day, well, he was campaigning for a friend who's running for town council. And here's the kicker. That guy standing on my porch, well, he's the same guy who installed our dryer vent 10 years ago when we first moved in. You know, instead of apartment complex where meth deals were going down in the parking lot, my kids can ride their bikes a block over and knock on a friend's door. There's an actual ice cream truck here, and it actually plays music. Honestly, I think I finally understand why people tuned in to watch a sheriff in a small town called Mayberry. I mean, this is living. This is where we belong. This is where our kids get to grow up. This is home, and I would not trade it for anywhere else in the country. This is 1 minute later. I'd love to hear your stories about the city life, small town life, or really wherever you feel most at home. So shoot me an email, Craig, CRAIG, @KJIL.com, and I will talk to you next time on 1 minute later.